Thanks for tuning in to my third video on tips for living in lockdown. I have a feeling that by the time this is all over, we'll be able to tell what stage of lockdown we were in by the length of my beard in each one of these videos. Today, I want to talk about capacity. At the moment, so much of our lives feel out of our control. We can't study or socialize like we normally would, and the lines between our study, our work, space, and time are all blurred. So are the boundaries within our spaces. So it's easy to end up in this kind of like a mental fog that's really hard to break out of, and that can have a really detrimental effect on our mental health. Added to that is that we end up hearing oftentimes a lot of overly simplistic advice about our mental health. I can't tell you the amount of students who I've heard say to me, I was having a chat with this person, they said, just go for a run or make sure you get a good night's sleep and it'll fix everything. And it's not that it's not true that those things aren't good. Of course they're good. But it's not the whole truth and it's not the wholeness of goodness. One of the most helpful descriptions I've heard about how our brain works is that they are kind of like computers. Have you ever wondered why your laptop is running slow or it can't do simple things, and then you suddenly realize that you have 18 browser tabs open with like 8 pop-up ads and 6 things downloading simultaneously while running a bunch of other programs? I think our bodies, our minds are the same way. That's why a jog or good diet and sleep, they matter. They don't solve our problems, but they can help give our minds the capacity to process and confront the negative thoughts that can so often bombard us during times of struggle and crisis. I think we've all gone through healthy and unhealthy seasons since this crisis started. I've had seasons of walking, staying in touch with friends, eating healthy food, making sure I get a decent night's sleep. Though, if I'm honest, those have all been battles. But I've also had other times, I've had unhealthy seasons. Nights when I've slept fitfully and days when I haven't left my desk or couch, followed by a half-pounder with cheese meal and a bag of Dunn's white chocolate chip cookies. And I'm not going to lie, those are good treat days. But if they become the everyday, then I often find myself, or I did find myself, gradually losing the energy to make good decisions. What I've found for me is that the more intentional I am with the choices that I make for my body, the more intentional I can be in the choices that I make for my mind. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that I don't worry or don't feel anxious or don't feel stressed. What it can mean, when I have the right balance for me, is that my worry, my anxiety, and my stress don't have the final word in the internal conversation that's happening in my heart and in my mind. It's not that I don't experience negative thoughts. It's that I have more energy to be able to confront them, to talk back to them, and to take more ownership over the story that I am telling myself about my life and about the world in which we live. So yes, go for a walk or a run, but don't be disappointed if it doesn't fix everything immediately. Absolutely, choose a good home-cooked meal over something that comes in paper and tastes like cardboard. But don't be surprised if it doesn't make everything else click into place. Definitely try and get a good night's sleep. But don't be disheartened when that one sweet spell of unconsciousness doesn't rewire everything that you have going on in your mind. It's incremental. For some great resources on this, make sure to check out Healthy UCD, who have some fantastic stuff on exercise and nutrition that's out at the moment. If you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out to the UCD Student Health Services or to the chaplaincy to see if talking to somebody might help. But remember, this crisis is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So it's about building the capacity to be able to think clearly, to clear the fog, to know what and how you feel and what the best next step is for you. Those steps look different depending on our circumstances, but what matters is that we are taking steps, however small, towards being and staying well.